morning. Good morning. I couldn't wait till it said 6:30. I needed to praise the Lord right now, this minute, for waking me up this morning. And so for the next 30 seconds before 6:30, I can say thank you for waking me up this morning. If you get ready to tune in with me at 6:30, listen, I'm already live. I'm already on fire. Why? Because my God woke me up this morning and he woke you up this morning. And we need to give him the praise, the honor, the glory, the acknowledgement, the hallelujah. As my mother would say, glory, glory. Welcome to January the 6th Perspective with Edwina B. That's me, y'all. Miss Cuckoo for Cocoa Pops, right? You see why, right? And I am sharing 32 plus years on my experience in reading, internalizing, meditating on the Alcoholics Anonymous daily reflection reading for this day. This day. And the title for this day is The Victory of Surrender. Woo! Who would have thought, right? The victory and surrender. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And incorporating the 5 agreements by the Ritz family. I'm telling you, when I came upon this book and this online course, I'm telling you, I've been on fire ever since, right? And so this is by the Ritz family, and I'm going to be incorporating the 5 agreements that I've been practicing here lately. And so this is our time, this is our day. And before we get into it, I don't represent Alcoholics Anonymous. I've just been a proud and grateful member for the past 32 years. And if it's God's, hold on. And if it's God's grace and mercy, I wake up on February the 23rd of 2023. That day, we'll have 33 years of recovery from addiction, alcoholism, prostitution, the whole 9 yards, lifestyle, behaviors, attitudes, ideas, actions. Woo! 33 years, but one day at a time. So I know it's a new year for y'all, but for me, it's a new day. It's a new day. This day, choose who you will serve. I choose to serve my creator. Yes. And so let's get our minds quieted. Let me wind down because I done had my coffee with my boy Billy Dandridge, right? God bless you. My morning coffee with him. It's his birthday, and I wanted to recognize Billy D. My girl Francine, all from Barrington, New Jersey. And I understand Jennifer is tuning in today. I love y'all. I love y'all. I love y'all. And so let's quiet our minds. Let's practice on our breathing and let's meditate for about a minute, okay? Using the Amazing Grace instrumental song. That's one of my favorite songs just to help me focus on why I am here this minute, this time, and with you. Okay, let's go. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for sharing that time for our Creator to get the acknowledgement and for Him to accept us just the way we are. Just the way we are. And I say that for a reason because before I can get into what we're going to get in today, I have to be transparent, I have to be authentic, and I have to demonstrate that this program is about being and becoming the real you. Who is Edwina? This is not Edwina. This is not Edwina. This is one of my masks that I can choose to wear, but I no longer choose to wear it. I only wear it to share a point because underneath that park car 32 plus years ago in the streets of Philadelphia, getting high and doing all kind of sexual favors with my own stepson at the age of 34. Woo! I was desperate to have this God that I didn't know to take me out this life now or to show me a better way. And for me, that's when that mask came out, and the victory of surrender was through a humiliating experience, but one of the most humbling experience I've ever had. So let's take off the wigs. Let's take off the mask. Because He accepts me just the way I am. Yes. And guess what? Alcohol and cocaine took my teeth, right? And so God blessed me in recovery with some dentures. You don't believe me? Uh-huh. Come on. Uh-huh. This is how transparent I am. God accepts me just the way I am, and He loves me just the way I am, and so do I, right? So listen, there's times when I can't find my dentures, right? And so this is my way of letting you know there may be times I may come to you just the way I am right now, right? But while I have them, I'm going to use them to articulate and pronunciate these words. But I'm just demonstrating how God accepts me just the way I am because He loves me and I love me today, right? Okay, so I'm gonna put them back. So y'all ready to get busy? That was a word in my diction I hated, right? But listen, I turned that negative into a positive by using the first agreement. Be impeccable with your word. I use get busy, meaning let me keep working for my Creator who prepared me to be sitting before you today, sharing my experience, my strength, my hope, and my perspective of the daily reflection for the day, incorporating the 5 agreements. Okay, so let me take a sip of my ginger tea. Woo! Okay. All right, you ready? Okay. So y'all know what the format is, right? And so I'm going to show you the daily reflection for today, and I'm going to read it, right? And if you can, I want you to hear it, right? But more importantly, and you might not do it the first time, I want you to listen. So let's hear with your ears, but listen with your spiritual ears. That makes sense? Okay. January the 6th, AA Daily Reflections. The victory of surrender. And go to aa.org to the Alcoholics Anonymous website to learn more about this 12-step program that offers 12 spiritual principles that all of us can use. And I will be incorporating the 5 agreements. Be impeccable with your word. Don't take anything personally. Don't make assumptions. Always do your best and be skeptical, but learn to listen. That's what it should say. All right, so the daily reflection, the victory of surrender. We perceive that only through utter defeat are we able to take our first steps toward liberation and strength. Our admissions of personal powerlessness finally turn out to be firm bedrock upon which happy and purposeful lives may be built. And this is from the 12 Steps and 12th Edition, page 21. And the Alcoholic in Recovery shares his perspective. He reads, when alcohol influenced every facet of my life, when bottles became the symbol of all my self-indulgence and permissiveness, when I came to realize that by myself I could do nothing to overcome the power of alcohol, I realized I had no recourse except surrender. In surrender, I found victory. Victory over my selfish self-indulgence, victory over my stubborn resistance to life as it was given to me. When I stopped fighting anybody or anything, I started on the path to sobriety, serenity, and peace. Oh my God. Did you hear that? The victory of surrender. The victory of surrender, right? And so when it talks about the victory of surrender, it is saying, for me, from my perspective, while underneath that parked car, almost 33 years ago, all of those times that I thought I surrendered to my drinking and drugging and the lifestyle because of my mother, because of my siblings, because of my family, I was coming into recovery for them, but that was not the purpose for me coming into recovery. I needed to become, and I need to come to recovery for me. I needed to surrender the masked Edwina. Yes. And so underneath that parked car is when I had my first and only surrender. So the surrender for me was definitely a victory. In some people's eyes, it was very humiliating. I thought too, but at that time, I did not care. I wanted to die, or I wanted this God that I didn't know to show me a better way. And I haven't looked back since. And when I do look back, it's to help people achieve the same victory I have and millions of others. Okay? All right, so let's go to the reading again. And this time, I want to share and break it down just a little bit. All right? I want to break it down just a little bit. Where am I at? Okay. Let me go here. Let me read this. All right. And let me take this out. Okay. All right. So now, the victory of surrender. Let's see. Can you remember a time when you fought something so bad, so diligently, so consistently, right? And you just kept going, but you could not win, huh? And you finally had to surrender. And for me, that spiritual angle says what you are fighting for, what you are trying to accomplish, what you are trying to prove. That's the key word. You are trying to do this. I was trying to do this, right? And eventually, like anything else, I failed, and so did you. So the victory of surrender says, when your knee bowing experience came upon you and you could not change this or that, and you had to surrender, spiritually, it was a victory. And you just didn't see the spiritual angle yet. But it's the victory of surrender, because we only need to surrender any and all things to the Creator. He is the only one that has the power, right? And I call him God. You may call him this, you may call him that, but let's call him the Creator, the one who created us, the real you, the real me. And we don't even know who that is. But the victory of surrender, right, starts the process. Being impeccable with my word. Who is Edwina? I want to find out who is Edwina. I had a mask for this. I had a mask for that. I had a mask for him. I had a mask for her. I had a mask for you. I even had a mask for myself. But now I want to know who I am, who the Creator intended me to be and to become for his purpose, for his glory. And therefore, that surrender underneath that parked car was a victory. Right? So be impeccable with my word, using the first of the 5 agreements, right? I will know. I will find out who I am. I will increase my awareness by using the 12 spiritual principles of Alcoholics Anonymous, by utilizing these 5 agreements, right? In order to increase my wisdom and spiritually, and also to increase my awareness of what happened to me to bring me to this point, to bring me to that experience underneath that car. What happened? Not what's wrong with me, what happened to me. Okay? And so when we look at the victory of surrender from a spiritual angle, every knee shall bow and every mouth will confess that he is. So let's see what Bill W., one of our co-founders, quote for today. We perceive that only through utter defeat are we able to take our first step toward liberation and strength. Do you hear that? Did you see that? Huh? Did you see that? It says here, right? Let me do it again, right? Let me do it again. It says here, we perceive that only through utter defeat. Utter defeat. Who likes to admit being defeated? Your physical, your humanness don't, but your spiritual part, yes. And that means our humanness has to be defeated in order for the spiritual part of us to rise. Okay? So we perceive that only through utter defeat are we able to take, right, our first steps toward spiritual liberation and spiritual strength. Huh? And coming into Alcoholics Anonymous, I had no idea 32 plus years ago, right? That I would be receiving and obtaining and attaining spiritual wisdom. I thought I was spiritual, right? When I was all high and stuff. But guess what? As a child, when there was chaos in my family, particularly with my dad and my mom and the physical abuse, I wondered to myself, what's it all about? Why is this happening? So I recognized that as a child, I had a yearning, I had a desire to know what it is all about. But through the 5 agreements, I learned what happened to me, right? I learned what happened to me. I learned who were the contributors to my development, my environment, right? My family, right? My community, even my own self. Right. So I found out what happened. And that occurred by utilizing the 4th spiritual principle of taking that fearless and thorough moral inventory to find out what happened for me to become who I am today, and all the things that I did and said and thought and felt. Who is Edwina? All right. And so it was through, right? It was through that utter defeat that I gained some spiritual liberation and strength, right? And so as a result of that, I also had to use the second agreement where it says don't take anything personally, right? I remember I wanted to be a model, and I wanted to be an actress, and I was told that when you too buck teeth, you too short, you got a big butt, you can't be no model, right? And I took that personally. I believed it. But guess what, y'all? Guess what? God gave me the desires of my heart because I'm a full-size model and actress. And see, by embracing the 12 spiritual principles and incorporating these 5 agreements, God will give you the desires of your heart. Why? Because he said, seek me first. Wow. Listen, show me. And so I've learned, right? It says here, right? Being able to, my first steps towards spiritual liberation and strength. Okay. So let's go to the next sentence. Our admission of personal powerless finally turned out to be the firm bedrock upon which happy and purposeful lives may be built. Listen, I get so emotional, right? Because at the time underneath that parked car, no, I don't know nothing. All I know is that I wanted to die. I wanted to die. I wanted to die. And this is after trying to commit suicide a couple times. I wanted to die. Right? And I hollered out, Edwina, something came upon me. I know who it was, right? And it said, whoever they say you are, whoever they say you are, whoever they say you are, take me out this life now, please. Or show me a better way, please. Show me a better way. And he didn't take me out. So that was the firm bedrock. Yes, that it talks about in this sentence, right? It turned out to be the firm bedrock upon which my happy and purposeful life is being built, right? And I have purpose today. I recognize my calling today. I know that I am being used today, that I'm an instrument. I know it. Why? Because at least one person tells me that every day. But guess what? I tell myself that every day. I tell myself that every day. And when you have purpose, right? This is your calling. Go for it, because your God is directing your path. He is preparing you to stay sober, to become spiritually wiser, and so that you can help somebody else, right? All right. So yes, I am happy. But I'm happy. Okay. All right, so let's go to the text, all right? And says, by me not taking things personally, now I am experiencing a lot of things that I wanted to do, but now I'm doing, okay? And here, when it also talk about the fifth agreement, don't make assumptions, right? And so I tell people, like during my addiction, and underneath that parked car, I knew what was behind me. I knew what was behind me. I did not know what was in front of me when I asked him to take me out this life or show me a better way. So I couldn't make assumptions about the future, about the next minute, the next hour. I don't know. Just take me out or show me a better way, because I know what's in back of me. I know when I'm leaving, and I don't want to go to hell back there. All righty. And so I had to practice unknowingly to me, not anticipating or making assumptions about what's ahead of me. I just had to have faith and allow my God to lead me, even though I didn't know him personally, right? Okay, so I didn't make assumptions. All right, so let's go into the text again, where it says, and this is what the alcoholic writes: when alcohol influences every facet of my life, when bottles became the symbol of all my self-indulgence and permissiveness, when I came to realize that by myself I could do nothing to overcome the power of alcohol, I realized I had no recourse except surrender. Did you listen to that with your spiritual ear? Did you marinate on that? Did you saute that? Whatever it was or whatever it is in your life that you have come to the realization that you don't have the power. You don't have the power, no matter how much and how eventually. Ooh, and that is the surrender of your ego, your pride, my ego, my pride. Think that I'm He-Man, I can do it. Oh, hell to the no. All right. And so I didn't need to make assumptions about this new way of life that God put me on. I just needed to walk, even if I stumbled forward. All right. And then he goes to say, right, and surrender, I found victory. And surrender, I found victory. Victory over what? Over my selfish self-indulgence, victory over my stubborn resistance to life as it was given to me, right? How many people look at the word surrender in a negative way? Not those in recovery, not those who are on this path, right? not those who are utilizing the 5 agreements. We recognize that we are surrendering to win because we are being led by the Creator and not our own self-will. I surrender you, Edwina. Oh, Lord, because you listen. My sister Ruby and a lot of other people, they just, but guess what? I am who I am, and I'm glad I am who I am. I am. So many times I let what people think and say affect me. And with the 5 agreements, not just negative things that could affect me, right? Positive things that people say could affect me. It could put me on an ego trip. It could put me on a pedestal, right? So I don't need to take anything personally. I don't need to assume you know me or you don't know me, right? I'm in love with this journey. So yes, victory to win, victory to and surrendering. There's power in victory, right? And then the last thing it says here, woo, when I stopped fighting anything or anybody, I started on the path to recovery, serenity, and peace. Y'all, I have so much peace. And I'm greedy. I want some more. All right. And so who would have thought that through underneath that parked car almost 33 years ago that I was surrendering to win, right? To win and go to the winning side, the only side, right? That gives me peace, happiness, purpose, right? And I'm just in love with recovery. And now with these 5 agreements, I'm on fire. I'm on fire. All right, so let's go over the 5 agreements in the next, few minutes that I have, okay? Because I've been sharing the information where I'm getting it from, right? So make sure you check your Facebook page and your Twitter and your Instagram and your likened, right? Because I put the information where these 5 agreements came from. So I want you to do your own research, okay? So let's go to the first agreement. This is the 5 agreements, right? Where you at? Okay, let's put this up here. All right, come on. All right, come on. All right, and let's do this, okay? And let's go back, okay? And so the 5 agreements: be impeccable with your word, speak with integrity, say only what you mean, avoid using the word to speak against yourself or to gossip about others. Use the power of your word in the direction of truth, okay? Let me start with myself. I no longer want to tell myself negative things because being impeccable means that you are sinning against yourself. Well, when we are impeccable with our word, I am no longer sinning against myself. Thereby, I can practice not I can practice being impeccable with my word with other people, right? Right? Yes. And so you got that, right? So again, go to the website, do your own research, okay? Now, the next one says, right? It says here, don't take anything personally. Nothing others do is because of you. What others say and do is a projection of their own reality, their own dream. When you are immune to the opinions and actions of others, you won't be the victim of needless suffering. Did you hear that? Right? Don't take anything personally. Because listen, let's be real. Everything that we think people are saying, thinking about, affect us. And guess what it did? It created chaos. It created a lot of suffering. But the 5 agreements to say, no. Don't take anything personally, not even what you say to yourself. Woo, get that book, y'all. Get that book. All right, let's go. I ain't got but a couple minutes. All right. The next one says, okay, don't make assumptions, right? We make assumptions all day long, right? Listen, I ain't got to go into that. You know what I mean? Don't make assumptions. Practice not making assumptions. Wait until you can ask the question to get the answer. Stay in the present, because when we make assumptions, we are on an ego trip based on our own belief, our own information, making up our own story. And guess what? It wasn't even true. Okay, come on. All right. Let's go to the next one. It says, listen, when I incorporate agreements 1, 2, and 3, that means I have the liberty to do my best, right? Your best is going to change from moment to moment. It will be different when you are healthy as opposed to sick. Under any circumstances, simply do your best, and you will avoid self-judgment, self-abuse, and regret, right? Always do your best. I'm doing my best now, right? Yes, I am. Okay, and wait a minute. I got one more. Right, and the fifth one says, be skeptical, but but listen to learn. It should say listen to learn, right? Or maybe learn to listen. It means the same thing, right? Don't believe yourself or anybody else unconditionally. Use the power of doubt to question everything you hear. Is it really the truth? Listen to the intent behind the words, and you will understand the real message, right? Oh my God. Listen, y'all. I am so glad that I was able to share what I am sharing, because I am now practicing, right? Listening to what I'm saying to myself, and evaluating and put it into perspective, and tell it to get up out of here if it's negative, and replace it with something positive. And if I can do it for me, I can do it for you, because that's what the 5 agreements are all about. And incorporating in my spiritual program of Alcoholics Anonymous and these 12 spiritual principles, Donald Lawrence says it. We are not a natural being having a spiritual experience. No, we are spiritual beings living and walking this natural experience. Do your own research. Until we meet again, I love you. Unconditionally, too. I'm a practice, okay? All right. Oh, Lord.